Can't find it. Sound like you got a good program lined up, Sam.
Tonight, we're going to have our open forum, and then we'll go into our presentation by Steve Isenberg tonight. Let's start out. Where's Rob? Where's Bob? I thought I saw him come in. Nope, guess not. I'm looking for Bob Primack, but I don't see him here yet.
Went to the restroom.
You know what? He's just coming in this moment.
There he is.
There he is. Let's let him connect.
I had a disaster with the feature update. Zoom is utterly incompatible with it.
Okay.
21H2.
Oh, nice. Okay, you can give us an update on that in just a moment. I was going to open up the meeting tonight, and I was saying welcome to everybody and telling everybody our presentation. Okay. Presenter tonight is Steve. I did make an error in my announcement that I sent out. I gave Bill Powell the kudos for Steve tonight, and that was totally wrong. I apologize to Bob Primack and to Bill and to Steve and to everybody for misputting that information out there. Bob, you did us a great job by connecting us with Steve tonight, and I wanted to say thank you very much.
Yeah. When it comes time, I'll introduce Steve. Okay. Unless you want me to introduce him to the group.
You could go ahead
at the time of the presentation.
Yeah, why don't we wait till the presentation? And, let's go with the round robin.
Yeah, I'll forget everything. Going to climb all over you because you gave a special thanks to me. But not only that, you misspelled my name. There's 2 L's.
Yeah, there are.
Yes,
I spelled it right. I spelled it right.
Actually, there's 4 L's, so that's the hell of it.
Yeah, that's the L of it.
Well, I'm just full of errors tonight. I just keep screwing up left and right. That's it. I should just go home. Oh, I am home.
And in a few weeks there'll be no L.
No L. Yeah.
Ooh, they're very sharp tonight, aren't they?
Tony, you are swift. You are fast with those little jokes. All right. Who would like to open up the floor with the first question of the evening?
Well, I've got one. If nobody else does.
Yes, Bill.
When I'm trying to add or update some of my software, I get a message that says unauthorized changes blocked, controlled folder access blocked, and then it lists whatever I was trying to do, like TurboTax or actually Zoom browser too. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I fix that problem?
Are you logged in as administrator?
Probably.
Okay.
Are you in Windows?
Yes.
Bob?
I have.
That is Windows Security.
Right.
Windows Defender. It is the protected folder feature. Mm-hmm. Protected access is a measure that's taken that is anti-ransomware.
Right.
And unfortunately, the unauthorized changes it blocks are pretty broad brush. And the result is that you have to allow lots and lots of little program components. Macrim Reflect, for example, needed 2 components to be allowed in order to function. TurboTax would probably have about half a dozen.
Wow.
You might want to just turn off that feature if you really aren't too concerned about ransomware, or if you have a third-party program that could do anti-ransomware and not cause these issues.
Walk me through it, Bob.
Okay, I might have to share my screen to do this.
All right, let's see if we can get you to share your screen. Allow.
I've got another suggestion, because I had a problem loading TurboTax also. A couple of years ago, I had wasn't able to load Quicken, I believe, and found something online that said make up another user ID on the computer and install it there. I did that. Again, that was a couple of years ago. left that, I call it vestigial login on the computer. Was having trouble loading TurboTax this past weekend, and I didn't get any response. I mean, I just, hit setup. It said, let this program make changes, and then nothing. I went to that other login that I had, and it installed fine. And of course, then it was available on any of the other 2 logins on the computer.
Yeah, Jim, that's exactly the same experience I just had with Zoom. It would
Okay.
work for one user, but not another.
Yeah.
And that was after a feature update. Things can happen at the system level, but I think what we're running into here is something more specific because there's a specific message.
Yeah, because you got the error
It's a
message,
security message.
Yeah.
Bob, you should be able to share the screen.
Yeah, let me share what you do about this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to try to share my entire screen.
And I hope this works good, it's working.
And what I'm going to try to do is bring up Windows Defender. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is the Security Center.
Right.
Virus and threat protection, which is Windows Defender. Scroll. Ransomware protection. Manage ransomware protection.
Slow down a little bit, Bob. I'm trying to write it down. Ransomware.
Ransomware.
Okay,
Virus and threat. Ransomware.
got it.
Manage. That's a link.
Yep.
Controlled folder access. Now, in my particular, why is my real-time protection not on? That's still a residual effect. Just a moment. Well, anyway, I may still be able to do this.
Yeah, protection history,
It's not protection history because
it's not.
it may or may not show, but it's controlled folder access, block history.
okay.
And that's right now bringing me back to protection history, partly because I'm in a user account, partly because something seems to be messed up about Windows security. But I'll deal with that some other time. It did bring me to protection history, which is not right. Protected folders. Okay, that's an administrator thing.
Don't see anything on your screen, Bob.
That's black.
That's because you do not see pop-ups,
Oh,
which is a good thing because I'm typing in a password and it didn't work. Okay, here we have it. If you were an administrator or you put in your UIC prompt administrator password, since I'm in a user account, I had to do that. Now you see, you could add a protected folder, or what I'm still trying to do is get to allow an app through controlled access. And it's going to ask me for my password again. And you can add an allowed app. The problem is, here's the list of what I have. And these do not look like program titles because they're not. They are program components, some of them buried deep within the Windows system. You have to find out the path to whatever it is that's been blocked. That path will be shown to you in the block message, and often nowhere else, because recently blocked may not include what just got blocked, depending on how it got blocked.
Okay.
So from that message, you somehow have to make a little note. It'll stay, the toast notification will stay up for a while. So you have time to write it down and then search for it on your computer.
Hey, Bob, could you take it from the top and run through these screens again? Just
Okay, backing out. Let's start from the top.
and you are
Down
talking
at your security shield.
not 11, right? This is 10, not 11.
10. 11 will work the same. It just blocks different things. Security shield down in your tray.
Yep.
virus and threat protection. That's Windows Defender. It'll say virus and threat protection and your last scan results. And below check for updates, you have ransomware protection. Manage. Controlled folder access. Allow an app through controlled.
Hold on a little, Bob.
All right. We're on ransomware protection.
Okay, yeah, I got that far. Manage.
First item is control folder access.
Okay,
That item has a link. It has 3 links, the bottom of which is allow an app through controlled folder access.
okay.
That's the link that's going blue and gray.
Mhm.
And then when we click on that, we get a UAC. Oops. And if I did that, now we can add an allowed app. And adding an allowed app, we can see recently blocked apps. I don't have any. Now we can browse all apps. Now this is where you're going to be knocked right into Windows and you're going to need to know the path.
Ooh.
Okay,
And that'll have to be done for each component that shows up as blocked.
Oh, that's stupid.
And there could be quite a lot of them.
so what if
Otherwise, you might decide you can live without this.
yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Now, what if I deactivate this, install my apps, and then reactivate it?
Yeah, when you deactivate it, reboot.
Okay,
Then I install the app and reboot. When
okay,
you have done this, the first time you fire up your app, it may be blocked. And you may still have to unblock it if you want ransomware protection from Microsoft.
yeah,
Other companies do ransomware protection that causes a lot fewer problems.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of it.
I see about some third parties, some of the paid versions of what we use for free with third-party antivirus or anti-malware programs will give you actually better anti-ransomware protection anyway. And they just use different methods that don't interfere as much. But you still may run into problems where you're going to have to approve something. So if that's clear enough, I can stop my share.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear enough for now. I'll have to play with it, make sure I know how.
Yeah.
That's fine. Appreciate it.
You may find there's only a couple of components like I did with Macrim Reflect, but with TurboTax, I'm suspicious you're going to have more.
Mhm.
Bert?
Sometimes these programs, if you go into their website, will have a fix if you go deep into their website. So you might check that out because certainly you're not the only one in that situation.
You mean they go into TurboTax's website?
Right. And if you go in deep into their issues section, oftentimes they'll have a fix for this kind of thing.
Yeah, they may have an automated way of allowing the things that need to be allowed. Not everybody does.
Doesn't sound like it's worth my time.
Like I say, you could substitute anti-ransomware that doesn't do this
Yeah,
as much.
because I got
All anti-ransomware will do this occasionally.
I got half a dozen apps that are being blocked. So
Yep.
to do that for half a dozen apps is a lot of time.
Well, you saw my list. It was about like maybe 24 items, and there's probably more.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But it's like any kind of artificial intelligence. It has to be trained.
That's what I keep telling my wife.
Her intelligence can't be artificial.
All right, next. That was a great question there, Bill. I've ran into that myself, and I wound up just disabling it because it just kept giving me, wrong information all the time on apps that wanted to be updated or loaded or installed that I wanted there, and it was just pain. So I turned the feature off. Probably something I should turn back on at some point. But I don't consider like most of us, I don't consider a computer static. I consider them dynamic. They're always evolving. Even it could be as an update to Zoom or something else. So that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, well, I have an update to Zoom that got blocked.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think my update got blocked so much as it ran into a problem with the feature update. Because, you know, the things I had to do, including restart, that's just typical of when a feature update breaks a few things and they have to fix themselves.
Okay, next question, new direction. None. Nobody has any question. God, what's with the
Bert raised his hands.
Bert? Oh, Bert, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. He was down there in the corner. What do you got, Bert?
No, I didn't raise my hand.
Oh. You're just, Steve, you're trying to throw me into a loop here. You know? He's trying to trick me up.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That's what you do with IT guys.
Yeah.
I see a lot of blank videos. We got James is not, Will is not video, Joe is not, and Jim Freeberg. Can we guys get some video from you guys? I like looking at your handsome faces. Or not. Maybe they don't want us to look at them. All right, so we got no other questions for the night. This is going to be a quick meeting, I think. Nobody's got any questions. This is find this hard to believe, and I'm probably sure I'll come up with something, but I don't remember what it was.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I have on my wife's computer, there's a bunch of things running that I think are slowing down the laptop. I don't want to go in to add, remove programs and, you know, remove or delete stuff and cause a problem. So can I use if I try to use download, install Process Explorer, will Process Explorer let me, I know Process Explorer has a feature where you can have it stop a program or some way. Is that just a temporary stop for the session when you're running the computer, but when you reboot the computer, everything is back the way it was? I'm looking for a way to just maybe temporarily stop, make sure it doesn't cause any problems.
Well, one thing you could do with the Process Explorer, and I'm not using Windows right now, so correct me if I'm using the wrong term, is you can see what application or applications is using the most amount of time. So you sort by CPU, and you can see who's using the most CPU, which means they're slowing them down. You can do similar type of thing for how much memory they're using. The best way is to find out that Firefox is using about 90 to 105% of your memory. And likewise for disk access. And then what you could do is select one of those and correct me, is there a way that you could then tell it to kill that application?
Within Process Explorer, you mean? Yeah, that's what I'm kind of asking. I thought there was.
Now, there are some processes that you'll stop and they'll start up again. Because there's multiple processes that are working together. And if some process you didn't stop realizes that the one you did stop was stopped, it'll restart it.
Yeah, and the Windows Task Manager does have a tab for processes. And when you go into processes, the trouble is you'll find some kinds of processes that are involved in slowing down your computer, which are listed as simply task host, and there's like about 20 of them, and you don't know which ones. And there are some others that are duplicate names. And hunt and peck is not an easy game to play in Windows.
No.
Correct. I forgot, yeah.
Oh. Well, 8.1 has similar issues. It's not really that different from 10 in that regard. This is something that has always been a problem, How do you know what background processes are running? There are third-party utilities that try to identify background processes and programs and try to kill them. And I personally don't use those kinds of things because I have some pretty up-to-date hardware. But if I didn't, I would probably be looking for a utility.
Okay. Did that help at all, Dennis? I mean, you could also use Task Manager too. You don't have to load a different third party on there.
Yeah. What I was saying about Task Manager is it may identify a lot of similar named processes. And as someone else indicated, you can kill one process and then another process keeps it alive or brings it back. And there are third-party utilities that simplify the detective work.
Would Process Explorer be one of those third party, or you're talking about something else?
I don't know if Process Explorer groups related processes, or when you click on one, whether it highlights other processes that depend on it, or that I would have to go down with it. But you can do multiple processes all at once with Process Explorer. And there are some other utilities.
And those would only be temporary. So if all of a sudden the computer froze, I just shut off the computer, turn it back on, and I'm still where I was before. No harm done, right?
Yeah, with these programs, that's true.
Only for your session. What you're deleting, even through
Right.
Task Manager, is only for your session while the computer is turned on. When you reboot, everything goes to what you have in the startup processes, unless you uninstall something that changes that.
Right, right. And that's what I was trying to do, is stay out of add remove programs and just try things to see. Okay.
Right. That's what you could do. I will ask you this one question though. Is your wife's computer, is it a laptop or a PC? First thing.
It's a laptop that she got from the
Somewhere.
priest at church.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even her property.
Technically, he gave it to her, but that was for her to help run some church-related software.
And at some point, can he recall it back to him?
The computer?
Yes.
I don't think. I think they're probably going to move on to a more current computer than a Windows 8.1. So I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. So that being said, is that computer have a spinning hard drive or an SSD?
Spinning hard drive.
That would be the place I would start. More so than you could kind of go through and you can figure out what programs could be slowing it down. But a lot of times, the longer it runs, the more crap that gets put on there, whether it's Windows crap, whether it's programs that are on there running, load more load onto it. And an SSD will speed up your computer by 100%.
Oh, much more than 100%.
Yeah. All right, but and
many times.
Yes,
there could be some temporary directories that have a lot of stuff left in them too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's handled through storage sense these days, but in Windows 8.1, it was good old disk cleanup. And you could run disk cleanup. That might help.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
And optimize defrag.
Empty the trash.
Yeah, or because they were simply written so that they will re-enable themselves,
Yeah.
whether they're required or not. That sometimes happens to me.
Are you maxed out on RAM?
Pardon?
Are you maxed out on RAM, Dennis?
Yeah, it only has 4 megabytes of RAM.
You can't.
But-
put-
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
4 gigabytes.
Right. Right.
That will help too. So those are several things you could do, Dennis.
Okay.
Upgrade the memory, and I recommend putting an SSD drive in that machine. And you'll see those two things will do the maximum speed potential. Will get your laptop to the maximum speed potential that it can do.
You're probably talking about $120 if you want to put that in it.
For both.
Yeah, for both.
For both, yeah. How big is the hard drive that's in there now? Let's say what, 500 gigs? You
I
think,
don't
Dennis?
think so. I thought I had it
Smaller.
written down here somewhere.
You also have to
Oh, it
download
has.
all these updates to
I
an
wrote
old
it down
machine.
once. It had a 440 gigabyte hard drive. A few months back, I looked at 392 gigabytes free of 440 gigabytes.
Yeah. So you probably have originally like a 480 gigabyte hard drive, and that's what you need to try to find online. Probably about 50 some odd bucks for that from Newegg. Yes, it would be like 35 bucks or something
Yeah,
like
but
that for
For $15.
that. Bill, I'm in your camp.
Yeah.
I prefer to match the drive size or go bigger, even if I'm not using the space. But Dennis, that would be your call. That's why I was asking, can this laptop be recalled back to the church? Because if you're going to make upgrades and changes to it, physical upgrades, and they call it back, you're going to be lost out of that.
Well, that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is losing or interfering or destroying the programs that she needs for them.
By doing these steps that we just outlined here, that is upgrading the RAM and cloning the hard drive across and putting the new SSD in place, you will not be removing, deleting,
Okay.
altering any programs that are on the machine, and the speed potential will be huge.
Okay.
And you'll still have the old drive for a backup with all the information on it.
Exactly. It's all
Okay.
still there. If something didn't go right, you pull out the old one, you pull out the new one, you put the old one back in, and she's up and running in whatever time it is. Now, I'm sure, Dennis, there's somebody who lives near you. I think you're by Schaumburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone who lives near Schaumburg that knows how to do hard drive cloning that could help Dennis?
Macro Reflect will do that. It's real easy.
Okay. Well, I just said, is there anyone around there that could help him?
Yeah,
Because
I know.
he's got to crack open that laptop, and he may not be. I don't know if you're familiar with how to crack open a laptop or what's involved in it. Dennis?
You you can buy
Okay.
an external kit for $15.
Very
And
true.
by doing that cloning of the drive, you have two versions of the exact same thing, as we said. One of them is your new fast SSD, and the other is the other hard drive. If something happens with the SSD, you just put the other one in.
Right.
And you have a hard backup of the whole system from that date, whenever that was.
And then when they say give it back, you take out the SSD and you put the other drive in.
There you go. You take it out. It takes you, I don't know physically how long it would take you to do it, but maybe 10, 15 minutes to pull out the old drive and swap the two back.
Sometimes there's just 2 screws on the bottom, and that's all it is.
It could be 2 screws, 4 screws, or it could be something on the side.
Yeah, or it could be
Depends
internal. It just depends on the laptop.
Depends on the laptop.
Google the laptop and ask for some assembly or maintenance instructions. And they'll show you exactly how to do it. I've done it a few times in different laptops, and that's what I do. I just I Google it, and then they show you how many screws you got to take out.
Even YouTube videos might show you how to do it too.
Sure.
So, Dennis, I know Ed Keating is up somewhere by you. Do you ever go to his meetings, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Ed Keating probably would be able to help you with this with no problem. If you get stuck in a bind, I can always help you. I've done this a numerous amount of times.
It's easier than you think, because I can do it.
Oh yeah, it is an easy thing to do. It just takes a little time. It might take a few hours to clone that drive across, if not multiple hours or not. That's the hardest part.
Replace the RAM first.
Right.
Right. But that way it'll speed up the process.
Definitely.
Yeah. If you do the RAM first, everything else will go faster.
Yep.
8 is definitely the sweet spot for what you're trying to do.
8.
Yeah.
8.
I'll put an asterisk here. The only thing that might curtail that is if he's running a 32-bit OS.
I looked that up. This I'm pretty sure, a 64.
Okay, then 8 gigs is perfect. If you're running a 32-bit, then 4 gigs is probably what, your max, right? For somebody, might be able to tell me. I'm not sure.
Again, you can get the specs for max RAM online.
Right. Okay, we've helped Dennis out. Is there any other last questions for our open forum?
Well, I got a comment.
Okay.
For those of you that go to Micro Center, did you get a coupon in the mail for a free flash drive, USB drive?
Looks like you're the only one who goes to Micro Center who lives in the closest to them.
Yeah, they got a coupon out. It's good till the 10th, I think it said. You get a free 128 gig USB drive.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I brought that up because I went there today and they don't have any.
They're out of stock?
Yeah, they're out of six. They're out of six. I asked about 264s. They said they're out of those too. They offered me 232s.
Oh,
Better
I
than
said,
nothing.
why not 4? Says, we don't have that money to give.
They're better than nothing.
No, I did. I took the 2, yeah.
that it is. They're trying to get you in the door. So, Tom, good luck with that.
Well, I took the 232s. It was good
Okay.
enough.
Oh, that'll work. All right. Anybody else got any comments, questions? None. All right. Who bought something new? Did anybody buy anything new? For
232 gig USB drives.
okay, well, we got that. You didn't buy them; they came free. Anybody else?
Well, if nobody else has got anything, I'll make a few comments.
I do have something I want
Okay,
to
you go
share.
first then.
All right, let me see if I can get this up on my screen. This one I thought was really cool. My buddy in Wisconsin showed me this one, so I will show you this device.
Was that Tom?
No, my buddy Carl in
Oh,
Wisconsin.
okay. That's right. His name was Carl, wasn't it?
Yep, that's right. He showed me this one, and I go, what the heck is this? All right, so this is a USB tester. And you may see this on my screen here.
Yeah, we
And
do.
I'm showing you on the what showed here on this. You could see my Amazon page, I hope. All right. So what this thing is what it says it is. It's a tester or monitor that tells you the voltage and the amperage going through your USB ports. So it only does USB B and C, including micro USBs. So it's just really nice to do. And there's a little toggle on there up here in the corner. You can't see it, but there's a little toggle up in the top. And what it allows you to do is flip between multiple screens. These are the screens. I think you could see that you have that you can choose from. It'll tell you all kinds of good stuff. The milliamps on there, the voltage, the amperage, lots of good things. And I found this to be very valuable because I was trying to troubleshoot some bad wires as well as some bad chargers or bricks and bad outlets. And this device has been able to help me determine whether or not those devices were bad or how bad they were. Are they charging at the rate that they say they're supposed to be doing? How much voltage are they pumping out? And this worked really well for this purpose. And it's very inexpensive. I think it's $16 on here. I paid a little less than that, I think, when I bought it. The only thing it does not have is an Apple interface. It does not have Thunderbolt or Lightning connector. I'm sorry. Anyone want to comment on this? Anyone seen this before?
No.
No. Okay.
I bought something similar to that a while ago. It wasn't quite shaped like that, and it was only the USB-C, the rectangular one.
Right.
And it would be able to keep track of several devices and be able to tell you the current voltage and amperage. This one seems like the next step up.
It is, and I think I can send this out in the chat. I'll stop sharing this, and I'll send the link out in the chat.
For what it's worth, all you really need to have is the B07DCTG6LH. Type that in when you're searching in Amazon, and it'll take you right to the page. You don't need the whole URL.
Oh, okay. Well, I just sent out the URL for the one that I bought. Now you can shop. There's a lot of different varieties of these or same manufacturers that you can choose from. So, and they're all pretty much the same. They all come out of China. So that was the one thing that I did buy last month. Bill, you had something else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no biggies. I bought a new phone.
Yay.
I had an iPhone 7 and I upgraded it to an SE, which is special edition because I like the size. And so what I got was a faster processor, more memory, and a better camera, basically. I bought it used through my provider for $120, which I thought was a good deal, refurbished.
Mhm.
They're usually $100 or $400 new. So now I have an iPhone 7, and anybody wants to buy it, I'll sell it to you for $50.
$50.
It works great. I got the box and everything with it. So anybody wants it, let me know, and I'll put it in a box and ship it to you. $50 plus mailage.
That's a good deal, boy.
It is
I
a
know,
good deal.
I know Alan might need one, something like that, to just use as a Wi-Fi only device for his new drone.
For his
But
drone?
I'll take that under advisement.
but I would go with something bigger. You know, I like a big screen myself.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Okay.
I wear it on my belt.
Oh no, I'm talking for Alan's purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And this
I
is
haven't had a chance to
something
look for the iPad adapters, but
Yeah.
I'll look for them. But I did send you that article that you asked for.
Right.
Something else I bought. These are Sabrent, Sabrent. They're a case that you can put your external drives in.
Oh, those are, you
It
get
comes
those at
in-
Newegg, don't you?
Comes in a clear, or it comes in a dark. And I like them so well, I've got 3 of them now. And I actually have another hard drive that I could put in another case, but I don't have a need to put it in a case for now. But I really like this. It's clear, so you know what the drive is. The only thing about them is they're a little hard to open, so I put a little tab on there to tell me which way it opens. And I almost have to use a small screwdriver to get it started.
Mhm.
But it's like $15. It's neat. I really like these. Like I say, I got 3 of them. Lastly, for Sanford,
Yes.
you
Ooh.
talked a while back about the Y disc.
Yes.
That one was 128.
Yes.
I didn't realize it, but I saw an ad for a 1 terabyte USB with both the iPhone and the USB connection.
Yeah.
And so I bought 4 of them to give to my grandkids, and because they all have iPhones. And it turns out those are also Y discs. They were $25 a piece for 1 terabyte.
Was that on Black Friday?
No, I don't think so. It might have been because it was around that time. But they were $25. I figured, what the hell?
Can you send the link?
I'll try if I can find them. I think I bought them through Amazon.
Right. It'd be in your Amazon account. Just look at what you past
Yeah.
purchases.
Well, let me see if I can find them for you.
Okay.
In the meantime, carry on. And I'll look.
Okay. I like this thing that you that Y disc thing. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually tried
And-
mine out.
A lot of the 1 terabyte ones have been bogus.
Really?
Yes. So you.
Well, I plugged it in. I plugged one of them in, and it showed a terabyte.
Okay, but you may want to try loading it up and see what happens.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, I've seen USBs and micro and SD cards that have been slated as saying they're a terabyte in size, but they cap out at like 300 gigs or 400 gigs.
Yeah, there was some verbiage in there that was a little confusing to me.
Right. If you remember a few months ago, I said I bought a micro SD card from China. It was a Samsung card, brand name on there, said Samsung, had all the right logos and everything. And this one said it was a terabyte, and it was not. It was, only could hold maybe 300 gigs, and then it failed after 300 gigs, no matter what. Even though it reported that it held a terabyte, it would not actually hold it. So I got scammed there. Yeah. And this note wasn't necessarily scammers per se. This came directly from China, from a company I've ordered from before, but they always sell the cheapest junk. And that's what I've learned from them is don't always, even though it's advertised on their webpage, it's still advertised and they still sell it. They could be bogus products. They're just not what they claim to be. So Bill, give it a whirl, give it a test. Take one of those drives, load it up, and make sure it works when you hit that up to that like 800 gigs or something like that.
Yeah, I can't do that because I put them in the gift wrap already.
Ooh, they don't care. They don't care. All right. Hey, Bill,
Yeah,
congratulations. I like that. I still would like to see that link if you ever find it.
I've got it. I'm trying to get it in the chat now.
You just copy and paste it in there and it'd be
Yeah,
great.
I know. I just haven't. It takes a little manipulation.
Manipulation. Okay. Did anyone else buy anything new? Nobody bought anything for Black Friday? Oh, come on. You guys got to support the economy here. All right.
Should be there, guys.
All right. What do we got there? Click here to down. Oh, we're downloading a JPEG.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just copied it as a
Okay.
JPEG. You want the link? I mean,
Yeah, the link.
It's
Just send out the link.
Amazon. Let me see if I can find if I'm still there. I'll see if I can give you the link. Yeah, I am.
All right. Anything else? Carl just came back. Carl, what'd you buy for Black Friday?
Speaker for the TV.
Speaker for the TV. What kind of speaker for the TV did you get? Nothing in particular, huh?
It's there's a term for it. It's real small.
Like a Bose? Soundbar.
Soundbar. That's it. Thanks.
Did you get that one I got that Sanford talked about a couple months back?
What's it called, Bill?
X. Let me look.
Come back, Bill. Come back.
Bill.
Come back, Bill. Go home, Bill.
Tony, we don't see you. Did you turn off your video?
My video is off.
Your video is off.
Okay. All right. 10-4. How do I look?
There you go. Just as handsome as Alan looks.
I don't
maybe-
want you all to take my picture and sell it on black market. Huh?
It's those beautiful paintings behind you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, Bill, what's the brand name on that one?
The Z-Box.
That's what Z-Box.
Yeah.
D-box.
Z-Box.
No. Z-Vox. Z-V-O-X.
That's right. ZVOX.
And
That's right.
I paid $179 for it. This one has 4 or 5 levels of sound variation. And I think they have a newer model out that has 8 or 9.
Right.
And when you guys were looking at it the last couple months ago, these were actually going for like 150 instead of 179. Which is
Okay. So the price went up.
Yeah, no, it went down.
Oh,
I paid 179. You were showing them for 150.
got it. I wonder what they were on Black Friday.
Yeah, and I really like them. It works great, and it's small and compact. It's about 12 inches long.
For those of us that may not remember the discussion that I brought up about that particular brand, is they're using hearing aid technology to amplify the voices. They're kind of tapping down the background noise and bringing up the audio, the voice tracks, so that those of us that can't hear very well, we can actually hear the audio instead of just cranking up the volume.
It works great.
And it does. I've heard nothing but good things about that product. I don't know if my kids would like it on a surround sound, but I sure would put it in my house.
Well, it's mostly voices, so for surround sound, I don't know.
Yeah,
They're more into the booming and so forth.
that's the other speaker's jobs.
Okay.
What's the brand again?
ZVOX.
Yeah, and what they're doing is what they're doing is what these second center channel speakers often do by isolating dialogue.
I see the ads. I see the ads in the Tribune all the time.
And they work. They do work.
They do work.
Hey, has anybody seen the product that they're talking about on WGN radio? That's a little camera that clips to your glasses, and it will read text for you. It will recognize people. It has like it actually is like it takes a visual picture of something and it interprets it for you. So if you have a hard time reading dialogue or seeing stuff, or reading, it will take a picture and dictate to you in your ears whatever it sees.
Right. It looks like a little pen, and it clips to your glasses.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
For people who have severe visual loss.
Right.
And it works for. It won't work for everybody. I mean, depending on your loss, it takes a little getting used to, I guess.
Okay.
And they're very expensive, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure they are expensive. The device they're talking about on the radio doesn't need Wi-Fi or internet connection to work. Boy, it must have a lot of horsepower in there.
I've seen another one that doesn't go on the glasses. It's just like a stick, and you shine it on a page, and it'll actually read the whole page for you.
That's pretty cool.
And I don't know how much those were, but I've seen those advertised.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to share with the group? If not, Terry, yes.
Yeah, I bought my wife for Christmas a new $700 Apple phone, which is just to let her get it out of her possession. But she's very happy with it.
She's very happy with it. So
it was the Apple phone. Yeah,
Oh,
$700. What model or whatever, but she's I can't get her away from it. Yeah,
she loves it.
Oh yeah.
Is it got a big screen?
Why did you?
Big screen.
The Apple phone. I don't think it's
Okay. Well, Terry, we know that you're CPA and you'll figure out how to write that off on her business expenses, so it doesn't cost you anything anyways.
I already did.
It might be a cash outlay, but you get it all back as a write-off. We know these.
And then some.
And then some. Boy, include your yeah, I know.
Yeah, it'll be $2,000 time I get done. Right. Yeah.
Amazing how these CPAs get things done.
Yeah, I mean everything gets inflated these days,
They do.
I bought a set of iPod Pros wireless earphones.
Ooh, the Pros.
Oh, sweet Mary of wow.
They're good?
If they're good. Is ice cream cold?
Ah, okay. So what?
I only paid $121 for them. They were over $300. So.
Wow.
And that was not. It was Black Friday or Black Thursday, whatever it was. Yeah.
That was a good deal. Where'd you get that from for that cheap of a price?
Oh, I bought it at the PX.
Okay. And let's see. I got one more thing I bought.
Where is he going to? He's gone?
Down here. I just wanted to tell you guys I bought part of this Apple thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got the AirTags. Can you see that?
You what?
Hold on.
Hold it close to you.
Move your lips. Let me see what you're saying.
There you go. Right there.
What is it?
Those are the Apple AirTags.
Apple AirTags.
Mm.
And this you attach to like your phones, your watches, I'm sorry, your keys, anything you could lose or misplace and put down. The phone is not the perfect thing to put it onto, though. But we have put it on our car keys. And it's really nice because you can track wherever the car keys are, including where the person is driving to and from. So it's a wireless tracker. We haven't had a need for it yet. We haven't lost our keys, so I haven't tested it out.
You did have a need for it. You just went to Boston. You should have thrown it in your luggage.
Oh, this was before. Oh, you're right. I could have thrown it in my luggage. I didn't think about that.
That's really the key. No, I bought years ago. I bought this device to throw in my suitcase. It's a relatively good sized honking device, and you have to pay a monthly fee for it to track you, and it was pretty lousy. But because the Apple tags, it broadcasts on every iPhone it comes near. I mean, that's a way better system.
Yes, it does. That was the reason we went with this system, is because there's so many iPhones that are out there. If my keys or whatever I put it on there had gotten lost, and I am not within vicinity of it, and I tell my iPhone that I lost this device, every iPhone that's out there in the world will be looking for this device.
Wow. What'd that cost you?
They were like, what are they? 30, I think they're $30 for one, or close to 100 for four. I think Costco had like $89. That's the cheapest price is Costco.
Is there a monthly fee then to use them?
Nope. Yeah, the monthly fee is owning an iPhone with cellular package. That's your fee. But no, there's no additional fees to use this. None.
How long does the battery last?
I can't answer that. You'll have to do your own lookup. It might be a little more than a year. They're what is it, 2032s?
Yeah, probably.
It's a regular lithium, battery that you can get for $2 and change it out yourself.
And Costco has it?
Costco has them. Well, they're out of stock probably. They got them in. They had the cheapest price, cheaper than what I paid for it on Amazon. I think Amazon was like 97. If you buy it from Apple, it's 99. If you get it from Apple, you can have them engraved with whatever you want on them. But that's from Apple. So that's for what it's worth. There's another tag service that's out there. I don't remember which one it is. And that one's pretty good. But the advantage with the Apple one is any iPhone can find this once you list it as lost.
I think they're suing Apple, I believe.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me.
Because of their technology, but they can't compete with Apple's because there's so many iPhones out there. So they're just gonna go away.
Yeah,
Apple's gonna pay them and say you're going away. See you later.
Yeah, that's Tile is the other brand that's out there. TILE. And it's a really good device. It's cheaper. It's like $20 cheaper than the AirTags are, at least on a set of 4. They work very similar. They work on Android as well as iOS. AirTags only work on iOS, that is Apple platform. But AirTags will work on both. But AirTags will not use the service similar to what Apple has designed in theirs. Any iPhone can look for these tags, any of them. So that's kind of neat. So anyways, that's for what that's worth.
So theoretically, if you were afraid of having your card jacked, you could keep one in your car all the time, and if someone took off with your car, you could track it.
You could track it with, yes, you could. Theoretically, you could track it. Yes, you can. That'd be a good use. If you had any other device or thing that you think could walk away, you'd put that AirTag on there or hide it somewhere. No one's going to find it in a car.
And if you don't trust your wife,
easy.
Or if the wife doesn't trust you, Looking at your back pocket.
Or a teenager that doesn't go where he's supposed to.
There you go.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
So,
Yeah,
so
it
when
I
does-
you,
believe there is a fail-safe device in this. If you, and I don't remember it offhand, but somehow it sends out a signal. If it's, so you can't track people over a period of time. It stops that. I mean, they were aware of that issue, tracking your wife and all that stuff. And they put something in where somebody, it must alert somebody that they're being tracked. I'm 80% sure that's
If she goes, she goes.
Right. Okay. Anybody else got any last comments? No. Let's go into our presentation tonight. And Bob, would you like to make the introduction? Where is Bob?
Introduction.
There you go.
I'd like to introduce Bob to make the introduction to Steve.
That's how it's going. Okay. Well, I'd like to introduce you folks to Steve Isenberg. Steve and I have known each other for a few years since I joined the Lexington Computer and Technology Group, LCTG. Steve knows a lot about almost anything I ask, from engineering to computers to philosophy and science fiction literature to his wicked wit when telling jokes. So here's some of his history in his own words. Steve has a BS and MS in computer science from Michigan State University. Decades in the computer industry as a software engineer, software quality assurance, and computer support. He teaches online IT course or courses for Boston University. He is an officer of another computer group of ours, another computer group I have been to, the Boston Network Users Group, BNUG. And that has mostly monthly meetings. It's free to join, and you can join at bnug.org, or Steve has a personal info page, and we can post that reference into chat later on. The BNUG page is currently in transition. Steve met me through the Lexington Computer and Technology Group, and he produces and posts recordings of most of the meetings. So he knows how you can do that. And without further ado, it appears Steve wants to present to us this evening a way to keep track of our vast collections of personal information in a way that is convenient, secure, and available to our next of kin when needed. Steve, take it away.
Thanks. First of all, I'll say that the BNUG website has reached a termination. It's now up, so that if you're interested in joining a group that talks about various networking and computer topics, you might want to go to bnug.org. Thank you very much, Bob and Sanford and the whole group here, for giving me a chance to present. I appreciate this. One of the things I really like is being able to take care of all of my passwords and have them make me feel secure in them so that they're available. We all have bank accounts, credit cards, insurance policies. We have healthcare accounts, and the list goes on. Many of these, actually nowadays, almost all of these are online. There are so many of these to remember. What URL you go to access it, the phone numbers you use to call, the account numbers you have, what your login and your password is, and hopefully that it's one that's complex and hard to guess. The challenge is, how do you keep track of all of this information in a way that is secure, it's easy to access, that's stored in multiple locations so that it's unlikely to get lost, it's stored securely so it's unlikely to get stolen, and that you can also make available to your next of kin if that's necessary. I'm going to discuss a solution that I have used that solves most, if not all, of these challenges in a very cost-effective way. And the best way of cost-effective is you pay for it with a penny and you get your penny back. It's free. You supply the equipment, you download the stuff, but for the most part, it's free. The application I'm going to talk about is free. And at this point, I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Oh, that would be over here. Let's see if that works. Oh, yes, I'm going to store the share the desktop. Yes. And at this point, you should see the screen right here. And you'll see this is my browser. It's not using the whole page because I'm going to, what is this? Oh, that doesn't belong here. This is a wiki. I have my wiki, and you can actually follow along with this if you want, or refer to this at a later time. So the importance of strong and hard to guess passwords. If you have a password that, well, let's see, what's a good way to guess a password? Well, one that's a common and easy to guess password, such as the word password and other particular ways. Simple sequences like this, sometimes password 1234. And somebody says, aha, I fooled you, mine's 1235. A dictionary attack using words, social engineering, the things that bad guys can use to find out about you. For instance, the name of your husband, wife, son, daughter, dog, cat, the type of car you have, your birthday, your anniversary. It sounds like it's kind of confusing because it's just numbers, but if someone can find out this information about you and maybe call you up and chat with you a little bit and find out some of your information, lo and behold, if you're using these things as passwords, you have lost your security. Now, brute force is another way, and that's where they just try write computer programs that just try strings, all A's, all B's, all C's, etc. You can write a program that does this. It'll take some time to do that, but using a brute force, you can crack any password, and the concern is how long it'll take to do that. Fake websites and phishing email that will make you feel comfortable, and you go there and you find out all of a sudden that they've asked for some information that you didn't want to give them, and next thing you know, you lose something. I got a phone call from somebody that said, we want to give you $50, just tell us your bank account number.
Wow.
And your routing number so that we can give you the money. And I said, no, because if I give them the routing number and the bank account number, they can make a withdrawal as well as they can make a deposit. There's password cracking software that kind of does a brute force, and these are some of them that I've found in the past. Another way that you can come up with a password that could be easy to guess is to use the same or a similar password for multiple sites. If you have a different password and it's complex for each site, then if someone breaks into one site, they can't get at all of your sites. If it's a similar password, they can break into one site and then try variations of that to get into your other sites. Can anybody think of other ways that people might use to guess your passwords?
Ask you for it.
Well, yeah, sure. Okay, let me go on here. This comes from Kim Commando, and this is an abbreviation. There's a larger page. I'll show you what's up on this next link here. But given the length of your password and what's in it, if it's numbers only, it takes, less than a second to try a 10-digit number. I wrote a program 50 years ago that would count up to 1 million, and it took a minute. Well, when you're talking about this, what is this, 10 million? It would go so fast, it's amazing. But it looks like if you go numbers and upper lower letters, then you're starting to get something that has a longer time. 7 months for a 10 character, 14 takes 9 million years. So if you go with numbers and upper and lowercase letters, then you can come up with a password if it's random enough. In other words, it's not a dictionary word, but if it's random enough, it'll take them a long time to get it. Now, when you consider the fact that over the next 9 million years, the computers are going to get a lot faster, so that 9 million is going to shrink. But you get the general idea that it's a good thing to have a password that's up in the 14 character. And now you got to think up passwords, make sure that they're not easy to guess, and remember them all. Over here on this chart, it shows more about that. This is the time it takes a hacker to brute force your password. And we see your 14 9 million years. This green area tells you the sizes that you ought to be in. Any questions so far? And back to the presentation, that link is right here. And this can be made available to you. So you got to assume that your attacker knows a lot about you. And if you are, like your kids or grandkids, busy on Facebook, putting all their information out there, people can figure that out. And if they're using those things, you know, my dog is such a neat name, I'm going to use it as my password. It's easy to remember. It's a guessable thing that somebody can figure out and break in on your password. It's like someone stole your car, but oh, I didn't lock it. So things that they can find out would be your name, birthday, your anniversary, social security number. Yeah, they can probably get your social security number, your birthday, and so forth of your parents, friends, spouse, dogs, and so forth. They can probably get that through social media, sequences, of course, combinations of the above, and passwords used before, because it's very possible that they've often already been breached. So how do you protect yourself? Well, you use different passwords for every site. Use a strong password, and we've seen that up here at the top. Try to go for a 14 character. But then, well, there's issues that go with that. We'll talk about how to get around that. Use randomly generated passwords, and that means if you're generating it, it's not random because you're generating it. Treat security questions. This is the big one here. Treat security questions as passwords. So it says, if you forget your password, what's the name of your best friend when you were a kid? What street did you live on when you were a kid? What's your favorite color? Those are all passwords, because if you have someone who's trying to break into your account and it comes up and says, the password doesn't work, would you like to try your security questions? Now you know the passwords to get into the person's account. So I treat security questions as a password. If I was born in Detroit, but if it says what town where were you born, I might say Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Or Zimbabwe.
Or Zimbabwe. I might even say the grass is green. So it's not even related to the question. So that for someone to guess it is going to be really tough. You got to, now to protect yourself, you have to remember them. Other advice is to use two-factor authentication. So you log in and then it sends a text to your phone. So you got to have your phone in your hand. That's one way of two-factor. You want to protect passwords from compromise, and you want to provide for next of kin. These are all things that I've been thinking about when I'm working on this. So now, remembering passwords. Here are a number of ways to remember passwords, and maybe you have your own. I used to have a friend, and I said, well, where do you keep all your passwords? And he pulls out a wrinkled piece of paper, and he folds it up and says, these are all my passwords. Then he puts it in his back pocket. And I think he did his wash once, and he lost all of his passwords. There's another, which is sticky notes attached to your computer. This is also free. The problem with this is that it can fall off, that it's only on that computer. And if you have another computer, or if you're someplace else, you don't have that password. It could be seen by others, so that, if you do it at home, you might be in pretty okay shape. Just your spouse can see it, maybe your kids can see it, but it's not going to be someone walking down the street who can see it, unless it's on your laptop that you bring into a Starbucks. It could be smudged. It could be damaged. You go to a Starbucks, you spill coffee on it, and you've lost all your passwords. Another way is a spreadsheet. Now, that's not too bad, actually, to maintain a spreadsheet of it, because that way you can store a lot of them, and going across on the number of columns, vertical, called columns, you can store additional information about that.
You also cut and paste.
Right. You can also cut and paste, copy and paste probably, but yes, you could do that. So you'd have the URL and the login ID and the password, and then you'd have the various, what they're called, security question answers and so forth. One other way to do that is a password manager. And while a spreadsheet can offer you a way to secure it, I think you can put a password on it. I'm not sure the quality of the security on that, if it can be broken. One of the things I did a long time ago was I was using something called TrueCrypt. And then I found out that even though TrueCrypt thought it was really secure, people were breaking into it so that it wasn't as secure. So you shouldn't use that. So a password manager is a good thing to do. It can be free and it can be paid. And a plus is that it can store all of your information that we've talked about, the answers to security questions and the answers to the security questions, the URLs, the passwords. You can keep track of past passwords, all those types of things, and it can produce good passwords for you. So the question for a spreadsheet and the question for password manager is, where are they stored? On a spreadsheet, you could accidentally overwrite it. Okay, and you have to create your passwords. Over here on a password manager, you have to figure out where is it being stored. And if it's being stored by a company online for you and they get breached, your passwords could get breached. Next, you want to do, if a human is going to guess the password, then you got to make it unhuman. You got to come up with a password that is not something that a human can easily guess. And here from these particular sites right here, is that right? That was next, yes. From these particular sites here, TechRadar has the best password manager. PC Magazine has some picks. You can do a DuckDuckGo or Google if you're still using Google to search for the best password managers and look for those that are very, very recent. And all of them, I've done some research, and here's the ones that I found most interesting. How are we doing? Any questions so far? Okay. So first one is Lastpass. Now, whoops.
Excellent. Hey, Steve?
Yeah.
I did have one little question. When you're making up passwords, if the site is a low impact site, in other words, you have to create a password to be able to use a thing that controls your light switches, or something stupid and rudimentary. But the company makes you make a password up for it to create an account. Is that something you worry about, making a strong password, or does it matter? You just make a simple, quick one, and you don't care if it gets hacked, if you will.
Well, actually, I do use a particular password for sites that I don't care if someone hacks it. So yeah. I guess, yes, if that's the case, it's use a secure password, and the security of the password is related to how concerned you are about someone being able to break in and use it. So if you are using something that controls the front light of your house, you might just put the word password as your password.
Okay.
But if you are passing off information to your all of your security holdings, you might want to have a really big password to make it so that not only can someone easily guess it, but that even if they see it, it's hard for them to remember it.
Okay, I get you.
Okay. Now, this whole thing came about when a couple months ago, someone was talking about how they were using an online password manager, and I just wanted to relate my opinions and what I'm doing. It's my opinions. Yours, you may find that some of these solutions are okay with you. So I'm not trying to say you should or shouldn't. I'm just basically saying, this is what I found. I don't like to have to spend money when I need to. And I'd like to have a way that I have full control over what's going on. So here's one right now. It's called Lastpass. This is a fairly well-known one. You can, for the free version, you can access on one type of device. And for a paid version, you get up to 1 gig of storage and multi-factor authentication and a way for a loved one to access in case of an emergency. The cost is free for one device type, so that on your computer you're using right now, that would be free. But if you want to have it on multiple machines, you got to start paying. the month. And it works on the main sites. So it works on my machine, works on yours. Another one is Dashlane. And this one gives you up to 50 passwords. And I'll tell you, that might seem like a lot until you start storing all your passwords in there, because I have a lot more than 50. Because you go to a new site, you give a password. You go to a new site, you give a password, and you have to remember these things. But for the paid version, which is $5 a month, it's unlimited passwords, unlimited devices, and a gigabyte of maximum storage. Now, the storage is not just passwords. It could also be files and documents that you want to store. And this also has the main sites, the main platforms you might want to use. Another one is Keeper Security. One device access for free, and then it costs on a monthly basis. Roboform, I think Commando that I just went to is pushing Roboform, and they had a special last week when I was looking at this, probably a Black Friday special, where it was $16.68 for a year, and for 5 years, then it's about $14 a year. And lets you sync across all your devices, gives you cloud backup, web access, and all cost. I'm not sure what that means. And it has quite a few devices. And Bitwarden is another one. And one advantage of this is that although all the passwords are kept online, I believe there's a way you can install it on your own servers. You can create a server connected to the internet and you can access it so you don't have to pay for them to store it. And then here's the one that I use. And this one is called Keepass. You find that at keepass.info. We'll visit that in just a second here. That's a tab right at the top here. This is I find this to be meeting all my needs because it works on Windows, Android, iPhone, iPad, Mac, Chromebook, BlackBerry, Linux, and more. So if you have a computer and you can access the internet, or if you can have a computer and you can run a program on it, then you can, use Keepass. So it can run from USB. So you can have US. That's the way I first did it. I put it on a USB stick and carried it around to different machines. There's many customizable options. It might be a little intimidating. We're going to go through creating one if we have enough time this evening. If you want to pay money for it, you're in trouble because there's no paid version. All features are free in all versions. And there are many different ports, as I talked about on the right here, to the different ones. And it doesn't give you a place to store the password safe. That's up to you. Does anybody have a favorite other they'd like to mention? Because I'll add it to the list. No. Okay, so I've covered them all. This was somebody I discovered this weekend. Somebody published this a few years ago. It says, I definitely agree with using a password manager. You should also be careful of who you trust with the information. Lastpass recently had a data breach where hackers got away with a significant amount of personal information. Thankfully, he says, no encrypted passwords were taken, but the fact that they were able to get as much as they did is concerning. You'd think that a company whose only goal is to increase online security would be able to defend against intrusion. So that if you have your password file and you know where you put it, and if you can keep people from getting there by putting it in a secure spot, maybe on your computer, maybe no place else, maybe on a memory stick that you hold in your hand, then you can rest more assured. You can rest more assured that no one can get at that information. So this is what I do. I use Keepass on multiple devices. I have a phone, iPad, I have a Mac, I have a Linux machine. My wife has a Windows PC. So we can access the password file from any of those machines using the software Keepass. I store the password in iCloud. I copy the password to local documents on each device, so it's there on this machine. And I copy the password to Dropbox and pCloud. So it's in 3 cloud locations that you need a password in order to connect up to log into. And it's on each device as well, which is really handy in my when I'm on my iPhone and somebody says, well, what's the password for such and so? Please enter the password. I can get it, even if I don't have an internet connection. So the benefits of Keepass are that it's free. The benefits of most password managers are it's just one password to remember. And a real big plus is that I can use long and complex passwords. So you can create secure passwords. You don't have to remember all of them. You only have to remember one password. I'm repeating myself. And you have all the information in one spot, an encrypted file. So if you have insurance policies, you can add the insurance policy number, the contact information, the various dates, your agent's name, your agent's phone number, all stored inside the password file. Here's some more information about Keepass. I'll go more quickly on this. It's a database. I'm going to take a drink of water here. Any questions so far?
Yes. And the first aspect up there said you can have it for one device. I forget which one it was, but one device type.
One device.
One
Keeper
device.
Security is on one for free. This is the free version.
Okay, this free version says free with one device type. Type means iPhone, Mac, Linux. That's what it means. Cost free for one device type. What does that mean?
You'll have to check. I'm not sure.
Oh, because it could be a Mac or Linux or mobile, a device type.
Steve or Tony, what they're referring to on one device type means is if you load Lastpass on a PC and you run it from a PC, only those PCs that you have this on can access the Lastpass and utilize it. You will not be able to use it from your phone, which doesn't matter if it's Android or whatever it is. Okay. It's a different device type. If you load it on your phone, it will work on your phone or any phones that you allow to use it, but you cannot use it on a PC.
Okay. If you load it on a Mac or on an iPhone, could you put it on the Mac and
No. If you put it in the iPhone, it only works on the iPhone. It will not work on the Mac.
If you put it on a Mac, the iPad.
Same thing. I think an iPhone and an iPad will work, but a MacBook will not.
Okay.
You can get around that.
You pay for it. You get around it in two ways. You use another application, or you pay for it.
Or a third way. No, I've been using Lastpass for, I don't know, 20 years or so.
Okay.
And I was recently, they had a little problems with it here and there when they updated and so forth. So I was talking with the guy who's the director of security for PC Magazine. I forget his name offhand.
Alan, quick it up.
Pardon me?
Speed up.
Oh, and the bottom line was LastPass works by using registering an email address and that one password. I suppose if you wanted to, you can just use a secondary email address and a secondary password, one for your iPhone or your phones, one for your computers. That's another way to get around it. And the other thing I want to mention was, yes, they did break into LastPass, but everything online is encrypted, and
they didn't get passwords. You're right. They didn't get passwords.
And the other thing is, you can go on any device. You can go on any device and just go on your website and log on to your account through your website, not necessarily through your. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but I know you could be out of the country on a public computer. And
apparently, what LastPass was doing was encrypting the passwords and nothing else. When Keepass encrypts the entire database, which is the passwords, the quick answers, the telephone numbers, the names of your agent, insurance policy numbers. Everything is encrypted, the whole thing. And you can tell because you can't see anything in that file unless you can log in and access it.
What I liked about LastPass is if you're out of the country, for example, I've uploaded my passport and my driver's license and all that stuff. It's all encrypted in the cloud. I can be in the police station in Antwerp and say, I've lost my password, go online and say, but there it is.
There's the key right there. You said go online.
Yes. I could go
what if you don't have internet access there?
Let's say I've lost my passport. I go to the American Embassy in Bangladesh and say, I need a new passport. I just download it. I go on their computer, download it, and there it is. They can issue it.
Assuming that they can get to that they're going to a place they can get to the internet. Okay, let me continue on with this.
Consulate, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Or a police station or whatever.
I'm not expecting anyone to change here. That's not my thing. I'm not.
Right.
Why would I be selling this? I'm selling something that's free.
I'm just commenting.
So let's see. The Keepass database, which, as I said, is fully encrypted, can store logins, passwords, other information, past passwords. All the database information is encrypted. You can also, and I haven't done it, but you could probably take your password. I should probably do that. Take my passport and put it in there as well to increase the size. And the advantage is that it's all on my phone. Doesn't matter where I am. Doesn't matter where I'm in. It's on my phone. Even if the phone is offline, there's no internet connection or anything. There are many applications that can access a Keepass database, and the same database can be accessed from each of them. So on my iPhone, I use Keepass Touch, and I've used Keepassium and Mini Keepass. On Windows, I was using Keepass 2. On my Mac OS, you'll see in a minute, I'm using Keepassxc, and there's other available ones to download from Keepass Info. I'll show you that in a minute. So the history that I went for is I used to use 1Password for all my sites, and it turns out that was easy to guess. And then I started using Keepass on a USB stick, and I'd copy it from each computer. I couldn't do it on a smartphone because I couldn't get that USB to plug into my smartphone, especially since I didn't have one. And of course, there's a risk that the loss of the stick and the loss of the synchronization of the database, because when I went to machine A, I'd copy it and make changes. If I didn't copy the changes back, then I have a different version between the machine and on the USB stick. Then I started using Dropbox to hold the database, and that worked out well because I could access that from all my databases, all my devices, and I have more than 3. But then Dropbox restricted to free access to maximum of 3 devices, so I'd have to pay for it. So I'm going to push this as far as I can to see how far I can go without having to pay anything. So I switched to iCloud because I get 5 gigabytes that's free, and my database right now is 350 kilobytes. It's probably going to go up if I scan my password and put it in there. I keep my most recent version in iCloud, and redundancy, I copy it to my local directory, and I put it in Dropbox and pCloud. And I know Dropbox only 3 devices, but still it's in another place, and I can switch from one to the other not too badly. And I can share the database with my wife by way of pCloud, so she has access to it. She's my next of kin. She can get to all these passwords. Bob, remind me, I got to tell her what that password is. Now, when I'm doing this, I use a database entry to log the changes because I want to make sure that I don't have anything that's out of sync. So I'll have one entry that says last changed on December 1st at 8:07 p.m. And then I will say that on 12:01, I updated this and I added a new password for Coles so that I have a log of my changes. And I do this manually. It's not a required. This is just additional thing that I add. And let's see. I might use this password. It's 14 characters, and it has an entropy of 8206, which is deemed good. It's a 14 character. This would be the million-year password. Here's another one. It's 18 characters. It's got an entropy of 101, and it's deemed excellent. So 18 characters wasn't even on the chart. Is it on the chart? Yeah. 100 trillion years. Not bad. And then other ones, password, these have very low entropy. There are other capabilities of Keepass, a password manager, of allowing you to click on things and have it automatically go to web pages and fill in passwords for you. But I haven't used that. Here's the Keepass info page. And this is on September 10th. Let me make sure this is the most recent. They released version 2.49, and that is the most recent version. And if you click on this, you can download the version for Windows. They also have 2 versions here. Let's see if we click on this. What does it give us? And it tells what the changes are. There are 2 versions. Let's see. There's one that's a portable version, so you can keep it on your USB, so you don't even have to load it on your machine. And downloads here. Oh, this is where it has it. This is the installer for Windows and a portable. With this one here, you install this on your stick, plug the stick in, and you run it off the stick. But this is Windows at the top. Go ahead.
Where's the ISO download? Is there one?
I'm not sure. It might be an application that runs here.
Or do you find
download the zip and unpack it to your favorite location? I don't know if they have an ISO version. That would be an operating system. I don't think they have that. I think
zip is not the same thing as ISO, and you wouldn't run something like this off of an ISO anyway.
You wouldn't run the password manager off an ISO. You'd be running it under an operating system.
Yeah, I meant where is the is there an app, and you must, because you have it. Where are the apps for using an iPhone? Rather than just...
let's get to that.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Here are downloads for Android, iPhone. Keepassium is one I'd mentioned. Strongbox. These are all different ports and the applications that they run. If you have an iPhone, you have a whole set of collection of these things here. For the Mac OS, you have some. Which one am I using here? I'm using Keepassxc. We haven't gotten to that here. So you can choose any of these. And what I found that I was doing was I'd be downloading one, installing it, trying it out and see if I like it. And then download another and see if it's better. And then download another, try it out and see if it's better. And eventually I find one that I like. And that's why I've listed on that previous page the ones that I've been using, because those are the ones that I found that I liked. And here's Keepassxc for Mac OS. Keepassx, I think, has been kind of put aside. And, okay, here's they don't have Linux up here, but there's some others down here that talk about, they have Ubuntu, which means it also works under Mint, Fedora. Let's see. Oh, here's another Mac OS X. I haven't really looked at these. Oh, you may have a U3 device. That's a special type of memory stick. Apparently, this works on those too. Any questions on what you're seeing here? And then we can get into running the application. Everybody awake still?
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay.
We're interested, or I am.
Where am I?
Let's see what happens here. Oh, okay. I just double clicked and I'm running the program. And you can see I got my personal databases down here. This is the one I'm currently using, and these are some backups to it. But I'm going to open this one right here, which is a passport example. So I'm going to open this existing database. Is that way how you do it? You click on this. Oh, I thought that cancel. Maybe just double click on this. Yes. Okay. Now, I don't want you to see the password that I'm typing into this example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Apparently you can use a key file. I'm not familiar with that. And here, this is the password file. This is a password safe here. And I've got things for online purchase.
Is that a
Go ahead.
template that they set up for you?
No, this is, I can give you this one if you want. This is, if you want to create a new database, let's see, is there a way to do that here? No,
Did you
cancel.
set this template up then?
I can give it to you, sure. New database. Okay, the new database name is Silly. And then you start filling information for it. So I don't want to do that right now, but you can make it difficult to people to get into, make it more and more encrypted. So I've set this up based off my real one, online purchases, banking, credit cards, banks. Oh, here's Creek Spend Bank and Trust. Okay. Oh, all right. So you can see what I've got here for this Creeks Bend Bank and Trust. The username is Oscar12, and this is the password for it. And I created this password on September 12th. That's, by the way, this down here are just notes. And the way I do the notes is that the previous password I created on March 1st. Let's give this guy a new password here. All right. So to give him a new password, I click on this guy right here. And now I'm generating a password. And it's currently a 13-character password. It's green, which means they like it. It's a pretty good password. And it's got an entropy of 71, which means it's green. It's a good quality password. But if you start adding other things to it, I don't like to do that myself. But if you make it bigger, now we're getting into excellent. Up around 19 characters. We're excellent. So let's apply this password. Now it's right up here. And at this point, we're done. But we have specified the new password for here. So now we go to the site and we would enter that in on that site. My process is to put a new line here, copy the password, which is also useful when I'm changing the password. And I put it here with the date. Just so that I can see when I created that one. And then I press OK. And since we did this guy, then I go back into it. Now, this particular version of Keepass, when I save and I press OK on this, it writes it back to the source. So it's been remembered. So the next time I come in, this information will be here. This lengthy password will be here.
How big is your memory stick?
Well, the one that this one is, this is an iCloud. Let's see if I can tell you how big that is. Where to go? Here it is. If I go to iCloud.
So Steve, at this point, you still haven't gone onto the website, changed it.
That's right.
Okay.
This is only keeping track of them, and then I go to the web.
Yeah,
I have to go there.
So you have to copy and paste the old password that you have to log in the first time, and then you go change it after that, right?
Yeah. So the way I'm doing it here is this is the old password.
Right.
Then I put the new password in here, but I still have the old password. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, so that when I need to log in with the old password, and it's available. And another reason is many years ago, you always have something many years ago, but many years ago, I was working in a system and I changed the password, and then they had to revert the database to the time before I changed the password. So I had to know my old password. Now, it hasn't happened since then, but this way, if they say, my goodness, we have to revert back to December 1st, you're going to have to use the password that you had on December 1st. It's stored here. I have it. This particular database file is 9 kilobytes. And my full password file is 347 kilobytes. That fits on most devices. let's see. Banks, credit cards. Oh, here's my Discover card. Now for the Discover card, it's nice to put in. Actually, you might want to even put it in a different way in addition to this. Because they like them in 4-character
Right.
groupings, so that you can take care of that and put that there. Here's the CVV for it. This is when it expires. And these are my secret questions. My best friend is Pamela 3. My favorite location is Watson Creek 3. And my first car was Edsel 3. So
Will this autofill your credit cards, or you just copy and paste them?
I copy and paste it. I believe there's a way where you can have it do that for you. Copy username to clipboard, copy password to clipboard, copy URL, and perform auto type. So apparently that what you could do is copy the username and do auto type, and then copy the password and do auto type. So take this one, and then we have I have investment accounts. I keep most of my money in this one. Insurance policies. And let's see. Driver's licenses, healthcare, personal numbers, social security numbers, for instance. These are all my non-kids. And their social security number and their date of birth. It's just collected in one spot in case I needed to get to them. And airlines, travel, so forth.
So Steve, so this program and the database,
yes,
you have on one of your devices. So if you make updates to it, then you copy this program file and database to that other device. Is that correct?
Pretty much so, yes.
Okay.
The way that I work it is that on this particular machine, and I have another one down in the dungeon, they both use iCloud. So that if I change it here, it gets changed in iCloud. And if I go down there and I access it, it gets the iCloud version. So it gets the changes. On my phone, I have to explicitly copy the version from iCloud. And I believe I have to do the same thing on my iPad.
Oh, I have to ask you again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused. This screen here that has all the folders on it.
Yes.
That's something that you created?
Yes.
Okay. So somehow there's a way to create new folders and subfolders and the rest of that stuff.
Tell me what to add. I'll show you.
File Explorer.
Yes. Banks, credit cards. What's another one that I'm missing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. New group, and that will be.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Medicare information.
Okay, cool.
And there is Medicare information. If I want a new entry in here, I could say okay, and then I'll have his password. What is it? Or something like that. Whatever his password is, you can put it in there. I don't know what's your Medicare number.
Not telling you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, and there's Herbie's Medicare number.
Got it.
Now there's other. There's a lot of capability here I haven't had a chance to use, but there's more advanced things where you can put in additional attributes and put attachments. Let's see here. Let's see if I have an attachment I can use. Yeah. This is a little bit silly, but I'm going to add this one. I'm going to add one. Where does it come up? Yes, except I want you to go to my desktop, and you can access my desktop. This is the system protecting me against it. And then I have, which one's that? This is the first time I've done this. Oh, view 2A. I'm not sure how to do this. Add, attachment, add, attachment, down, desktop. There we go. View 2A.
And then probably hit open. Yeah.
And there it is. And the file is now, it's still computing. It's now 297 kilobytes because we just added that one entry. That was 279. So that's where we got the extra space. Can we take a look at it? And yes, we can.
Yeah, over, yeah.
And it's a picture of a Chinese restaurant in Boston.
Cool.
That's the first time I've added a picture to it. So you were talking about wanting to store your password in here. Obviously, you can do that. Let's see, icon. I guess you can change the icon associated with this guy. Maybe you want it to be this. And you can specify some auto type. I'm not sure how that works. Properties, created, modified, accessed. Oh, it tells me when I did all this stuff. Eastern time, of course. And the history of changes. Press OK. And there now it's got this guy. He's got this particular picture. So you can use that. I haven't done that too much, but you can use that. Any other question? I'm pretty much done here. I don't have anything else to cover, unless you have something you'd like me to discuss. Oh.
Have you used any online tutorials for this? YouTube or anything else?
No, I haven't actually. I imagine there are some. I just kind of figured it out myself.
Yeah.
This is a fake person generator.
Fake person.
Yeah, when I was creating various people, I used this here to create a different person. Here's an Asian male when he was born, so forth. These are not real people. These are all fake people.
Why did you do that? Just to practice?
Well, I did that because I wanted to put some names in the file and some passwords, some social security numbers in the file. I didn't want them to be real.
Oh, okay. Just for today.
Yeah. Okay. I've been in quality assurance, as Bob said, and one of the things in quality assurance, I might want to put in some fake people. When I was testing some tax software, I had to put in fake accounts. You know, you have to have a name, address, and a social security number. So you use a generator to generate that fake data so that it's not at all related to something a human created.
Nice.
It's 10:30.
It's a lot later over here.
So obviously when you have your stick, your memory stick, it is not normally adaptable to another device type. PC, Windows, iPhone, iMac.
Well, it depends. I mean, if your memory stick works on, you know, it's got the standard kind of plug here at the end. Yeah, then it'll plug into any device that takes it.
Buy one of those Y discs I was talking about earlier.
There you go.
And then you'll have both Apple and a USB port.
Sounds nice.
So that is one solution, is to store it on the USB. So maybe you put it on your PC and you put it on the USB to carry it to another device. But if you can feel comfortable using it on a cloud where you have to log into the cloud with a password to get to it and make that a secure password, and then you store it there and use a decent password on your password file, you can get at it from a number of different machines.
So how many passwords do you have to have now? You have to have one for iCloud, you have to have one for the file.
No, you have one for this, and you can get all the others as long as you can get into this file, or else maybe you need to have two. So you got to get into iCloud and they have one for password file.
Okay.
So effectively, you're still getting it down. You're basically getting it down to using one or two very strong passwords that you can't remember, and then all the other ones you've got in this file.
Yes.
Okay.
Those passwords I saw that you had on there, I don't know how in the world would you ever remember those?
That's the general idea. And when you go to this guy here and you see, now it's in notes, so it shows up here, but you can see that the password is really hidden, although I can view it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's a pretty good password right there, I think.
Right, but that one again is not the one that you remember, because that's the one you're going to be looking up. It's the one that I think you're getting to the point, Bill. Maybe what are you going to how kind of a password do you have to enter this file?
Right, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
How long has this program been around, Steve? This Keepass?
I've heard of it years ago.
I don't know. Bob, do you have any idea how long ago this has been around?
The reason I ask is it seems like it's superior to the others in that you are storing your own stuff on your own devices, and it's nothing up in the cloud with these other companies that could get hacked. I mean, it seems superior to me. I mean, I don't know why I haven't heard more about it.
Because nobody makes any money on it.
They've been around I don't know how long.
Open source software, and this is one of the older ones, has been around since the earliest days of computers, and very few Windows and Mac users have ever heard of most of the titles. And that's a shame, because this is some of the most useful software that you can get. And this is one of the best examples of it.
Oh, it was released in 2003.
18 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, I knew it's been a while.
Okay. Any other last questions for Steve?
Yeah, you said you could send us that template.
Sure. How do you want me to do that?
In the mail.
That would be fine, or
put it in the. I'm sorry. Say it again. Chat.
Put it in chat.
Put it in the chat.
Okay. I'll see if I can do that.
And then everyone will get it.
Able to do that. I'm going to stop my share. If that's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If it's a file, you can put it in chat.
And then we'll all get it.
Except those with iPads.
Right.
Easy now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you won't.
You're just saying. All right.
Okay, there it is. It's called password example.kdbx, and the password.
The latest Zoom version alerts you that there's a potential security issue in downloading this file.
Yeah, I see that.
But you can click through that. And Steve tells you what his password is.
What is that KDB?
KGB.
Yeah, what is that extension on there?
Putin's password is middle name, KGB.
It's Keepass Database, and the X means it's the second version.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How does one view that?
But we won't be able to open it.
Right.
You have to get the application.
Got to get the application. Okay. All right.
And the way you do that is by going to, well, first of all, you can go see the security presentation, which is right here. I'll pass that along. And this is the information from the security presentation. And to get to Keepass, you go to this URL. You can do this right now. Yeah, if you go there, and from there you can go to the download page and download a version. Now in here, I talk about the versions I'm using for different ones. What am I using for Windows?
Just download the portable version. You'll be all right. Don't have to
That's-
risk installing it at all. Put it on a flash drive if you want. Then it's never even on your computer. But seriously, portable apps are really nice for testing out software.
Yes.
Once, if you want to get rid of it, it's gone.
But I'll tell you, I've been using this for, well, I don't know if I started in 2003. I don't remember when I did start with it, but I've been using it for quite a few years. And it has been totally working exactly as I want. I've never had an issue with it at all. This is one of these things, if it sounds too good to be true, this is the one where it is true.
Jim? Jim, we can't hear you.
Hear you.
Jim Freeberg, can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Oh. He's not muted.
Just pull the plug.
All right. Let's
Are you
ask,
good?
try to unmute yourself again. Ask to unmute. I
Nope.
still can't hear you, Jim.
Read
Oh
my
God,
lips.
You
Suddenly
know sign
lost it.
language?
Jim, can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yay.
Yes. Hey.
For some reason, it picked the wrong thing for this microphone I have. Okay, so question, Steve.
Yep.
Have you run into any problems using passwords over 16 characters?
Not yet.
Because I had the experience about a month ago. I was working on a talk for these guys about email, and I moved from Windows Live Mail, which is an old mail system that Microsoft had, to Outlook 365. And when I did that, I discovered that I couldn't get Outlook to open to talk to the server. And I started with my ISP and talked to them about it. And they looked at everything and they said, no, I don't see anything. I said, well, do you have any limits on password length? They said, oh, no, we don't have any limits on the password length. So, but they gave me a telephone number for Microsoft, for the Outlook person in Microsoft. So I called the Outlook person in Microsoft. He spent an hour with me and he couldn't figure out why I kept getting this error when I tried to access my email from Outlook 365. He gave up. I went on and I did a little thinking about it and I played around. And when I reduced the password from 20 characters to 16, it worked. So a
Appreciate that,
warning
tell
to
you.
you folks about Outlook, at least the 365 version, it has a limit somewhere between 16 and 20. I didn't take the time to figure it out. But if you discover that you're pretty sure you're putting in the right login and the password, check the password length because it might be too long.
That is very typical of Microsoft products and Microsoft services. The services have a little longer password length, but Windows traditionally, you couldn't go beyond 12 characters in your login password. Now I think you can go 16 to 18.
Yeah, it's probably 16 because that's 2 to the whatever.
Yeah, 2 bytes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Limited number of bytes.
In Windows, it was that weird number 12.
12.
But
yeah.
now it's longer.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Steve, thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Tony, I
Yes,
sent
sir.
you a quick little chat. Can you just read that chat real quick?
When now?
You read it to yourself and tell me
No.
give me an answer to that, if you can.
You want me
I
to
wanna
code
say-
the answer, encode it or uncode it? Let me see. So
I don't think he wants everybody to see that, Tony.
Everybody's seen this now?
No, I think it's just to you.
Tony,
Up to
direct
me?
message to you. Thank you,
Direct
Steve, very much for your presentation. It was outstanding.
Thank you.
We hope to see you again at more of these down the line.
Keep me
And
posted.
feel free to offer any information. I really appreciate you stepping up to the plate for this meeting, even though we're kind of new to you as a group.
Hey, Steve, you said you were a sci-fi buff?
I am to some extent, yes.
Oh, okay. I was just
Have
going
you
to
read
ask you, I was
the
just
Hail
interested
Mary,
to ask if you're familiar with this one.
The Robots of Saturn? No, I haven't. Who wrote that?
Can't tell who wrote it. Is it Big Alan?
Alan?
Big Al's, well, who wrote it? Actually, this is, I don't know. You can see that.
Oh, Joseph Green. I'm not familiar with him.
Okay. Just ask him.
Okay. Are you familiar with this one here? Just a second, about a second.
We got to kind of wrap this up. Tony, do you
Yeah.
have a something for me?
Yes, I have an answer. I'm trying to send it to get it to you. The answer is a 3-letter word.
Oh, a 3-letter word. I don't like.
It must be yes. Must be yes
I
instead
didn't
of
say
no.
4-letter words. I said 3.
Fourth
My vocabulary is 3 fingers. I'm trying to reply to you. I'm getting a challenge. Let me see if I go here.
Okay, so I'm going to just close this off and